This is how my heart feels after TATINOF. Hi guys. I have been putting off this video for a couple days now because I'm still an emotional wreck, and it's like there hasn't been a day since TATINOF that I haven't cried, and it's like, good job, Lisa. I mean, it's just so hard, like, going on with life. Like I never met Dan and Phil, or like I never went to go see them live or see them with my own eyes. May 27, 2016. I wake up at my usual time, which is at 6:15 a.m. for school. Yay! I was at school for only my 1st through 6th period, and I literally could not sit still in my seat. I was just freaking out the whole time because I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna meet Dan and Phil in a couple hours. So I left early. I left school at about 1, and my mom picked me up, and then we went home and I got stuff ready. I didn't get to the Chicago theater until like 4, and my mom was going to be dropping me out. So we basically had to like ride around the Chicago theater until it was about 4:15ish. So I got off my car like at 4:10, and my mom's like, oh, go inside and go ask the guy where to stand and stuff. And I'm like, Mom, I see a line on the side of the building. I'm pretty sure that's for VIP. And she's like, no, go ahead, still just go ask the box office guy. Because my mom had already gotten my ticket like an hour before she had picked me up from school, so I had my ticket already. So either way, I was just like, okay, bye mom, wish me luck and stuff. And so I get out of the truck, I walk into the Chicago theater, and I see this girl and her mom there, and I'm like, okay, gotta make some friends. So I'm like, hey, are you here for VIP? And she's like, yeah, I am. And so her and her mom kind of talked for a couple of seconds, and then we're like, yeah, we should go together. So I was like, hey, what's your name? And she's like, my name's Courtney. Hi Courtney, if you're watching this. And I told her, well, my name is Lisa, you know, yeah. So we went to the line that I had said was for the VIP, but my mother did not believe me, but I was like, you know what, I was right. So we waited in line for only about a minute or so, because then they did the metal detector kind of thing. They checked our tickets, and then we went inside the building. Now inside the building, they put us on a red wristband. My number was 66, and basically we just walked down these stairs and we got into another line where we waited for like 10-15 minutes. Great, waiting. I love waiting. I'm just kidding. I would wait forever just to meet Dan and Phil, just saying. Oh my gosh, I was literally just shaking, and I was like, Courtney, I can't do this. I can't. The line started moving, so they took us into this room. It was full of chairs, and they didn't have a chair there for me, so I was just kind of like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. So I sat down on like one of the stairs. Then they brought us chairs, and I was like, oh, thanks. And then I started talking to Courtney and these other girls that were there, and I was just like, hey, what's up, Phan? Am I right? I honestly was surprised that I actually made friends quickly, but then again, it's the fandom. But then again, it's a fandom, so you never really know what the fandom. It's kind of like a yeah or a no, get out of my face, please and thank you. The whole time I was waiting there, I couldn't believe, like I was just dying. Like, you have no idea how nervous I was. Like, I was just like, and then all these people were Snapchatting me and like messaging me, and they're like, hey Lisa, did you meet Dan and Phil yet? And I'm like, shut up, okay? I can't do this right now. I have to save all my battery. I took my phone, my sister's iPod, and my iPod. So while I was waiting there and shaking uncontrollably, this guy and this girl that were involved with TATINOF came up to us and, spoiler, said that Dan would be doing a segment in the show that was basically internet support group, and I was like, oh my god, I need it. And they just said, you know, ask a question, ask about this, ask about that, and literally every single person that was there, they just kind of stared like, oh my gosh, I do not know what question I can ask, but I want to ask a question. I was so nervous. I was just like, it was so bad. Basically they said, this is kind of a loud place, we're gonna have to move to another room, so if you want to ask a question, come follow us. They were literally walking out of the room, and I was like, Lisa, this is the only time that you're gonna be at TATINOF. I'm sure of it. You need to do what you can to make it the most memorable thing in the world. I knew it was gonna be the best day of my life either way, but I just like, you know what, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna make the best out of it I can make. What words? Yeah. Well, I ran to them and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm nervous. So I followed them and then they're like, okay, so you're gonna start off with, hi Dan, my name is blank, I'm from blank, and then you're gonna say, my problem is blank, or something like that. And I was like, I don't know how many VIP tickets they sell, but around 70 I think it is, or maybe it's 100, I'm not even sure to be honest. But anyways, out of those many people, only about 10 girls went to like the internet support group question thingy, and I was just like, okay, if there's only 10 girls right here, that means I have a really good chance of being chosen. So I have to pick something from my whole list of problems and just make the most out of it. Every single girl went, including Courtney. Good job, Courtney. So I was last. I was by myself and I was with this guy and then the girl, and then he's like, okay, say, hi Dan, my name is, I'm from, and I was like, I literally could hear my heart just, and I was like, you know what, let's do this, come on Lisa. So I was like, you can hear like the voice crack, it was so bad. I was like, hi Dan, my name's Elizabeth and I'm from Chicago. And then he told me to ask the problem, so I was like, okay, I got this. I kind of forgot exactly how I worded it, but it was along the lines of, my problem is my family is always judging me for wearing black. What should I do to stop their judgment? I kid you not, I made that short pause and I got so nervous because yes, it flowed naturally, but I made the smallest pause between stop their judgment. And it was like, wow, good job Lisa, good job. And then the guy was like, oh, okay, that's perfect, yeah, you could go back to your seat. And then I heard them talking about, oh, Dan and Phil are coming in like 5 minutes, and I was like, oh, murder me. So I went back to my seat, sat next to Courtney and stuff, and everyone was just waiting for Dan and Phil to pop out. They were just like, oh my gosh, Dan and Phil are 10 minutes late. And I was like, wow, good job guys. Like I said, I would wait forever just to meet Dan and Phil. Next thing you know, Dan and Phil just pop out from the left corner of the room, and I'm sorry, Phil just came in and he was like, hi guys, and everyone freaked out. Including me. I have like a 4-minute clip. Oh my god. I just felt like crying so bad because I was like, oh my god, they're real, what the fuck. Like it was crazy to me because I was like, all those years of watching these two nerds and stuff, and look, there they are. And I just started like, I screamed and I was like, oh my god. And then Dan was like, hi guys, and Dan was like, stay where you guys are. And so they took like a group photo of all, like they took a selfie basically with all of us. And so they're like, okay, we'll see you on the other side. And I don't words, like, oh my gosh, it was just, I couldn't even believe it. I'm like, they're literally on the other side of that screen thing, and how am I okay? And so they were like, okay, people please line up. Of course everyone freaking attacked the line, and I got up too because I was like, you know, they said to get in line. But then they're like, I'm sorry, but we would only like about 15 people in line. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna meet them, I'm fine with it. So I sat down. I waited for like an hour before I decided to get in line. And I was like, okay, woo, I got this. No. I wanted my book signed, so the lady told me to open up to the page that I wanted them to sign, and I was like, okay. And I was just so nervous, and I was dying, and I was like, how am I alive? How am I alive right now? And then it was my turn. And I went up. And I went up And I hugged Dan. And being the basic, most quickest thing I could think of, I said, "You're so tall." No duh. I'm pretty sure he knows that, Lisa. Oh my god. I regret saying that so much because it's just like, literally, I had something I wanted to say and I wanted to say thank you for making me smile and doing all these things for me, but I couldn't say it, and it was like, okay. So I hugged Dan and I said, "You're so tall." And then he's like, "I know, right?" And then I hugged Phil and it was amazing, you know? Amazing Phil. And so Dan was like, "Oh, what do you want us to sign?" And so, first of all, the hug, I loved every moment of it. But I felt so awkward because I had to hold the book up to the page and then hug them. Like, but I had planned out in my head what I kind of wanted it to go like. I mean, I know it wasn't going to be 100%, but like I had wrote Dan and Phil this letter. But even before I could give it to them, I had to give it to the security guard. So that kind of ruined like everything that I had planned, because then once I hugged them, and I was planning to give them my letter once they were signing my book. They signed my book in like a second. I just couldn't believe what was happening. That was when I was gonna tell them, "Thanks for making me smile, and I don't know if I could bring you anything, but I wrote you guys this letter and I hope you enjoy it." But I couldn't do that, and that kind of just messed me up. This is where they signed my book. Swag. Dan was on the left side and Phil was on the right side, so they had to like cross over in the hands. Yeah, so they had to basically write like this. So once they signed it in like a second flat, which I was just there like, they're signing my book. They're signing my book. They're signing my book. So it was time for the photo, and I had my camera ready. I had it in my belt pocket, okay? So I took it out, and you know when you have an iPod or iPhone, whatever, and it's not on Wi-Fi and you accidentally hold down the home button and it says, "Sorry, not available." Yeah, it was right there, and I was like, wow, this is awkward. So I was trying to click back to the camera and I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm such a mess." And then Dan was like, no, it's okay, you're fine." And I was like, on the inside, I was just like, "No, I'm not fine. Like, it's not fine. I'm freaking out. Like, I'm meeting the people that make me so happy, and it's like, here I am." And oh, I'm sorry. And so I took out my sister's iPod, lame, I know, and I gave it to Dan, and then he's like, "Here, right here, go in between us." And so I went, and then, and I honestly didn't know what pose I wanted, but I was just like, you know what, whatever. So Dan held up the iPod, and I looked right at the camera. I honestly regret looking straight at the camera. I wish I could have saw as we took the picture, but... And I saw that Dan held up his peace sign. So I was like, you know what, let me do that too. So I did it. And every single time I look back at the photo, I'm just like, oh my god. Like, Phil had one of his fingers on this side of my hand, and then like 4 on this side, and I was just like, that happened. What? And so Dan, even though you were supposedly only supposed to take 1 photo, Dan took like 3 real fast, and he gave me back the iPod. He's like, here you go. And I was like, oh my god. Is this ending? I got so sad. Like, oh my god. And I hugged Dad awkwardly, right? And then I hugged Dan again, and then I hugged Phil again, and then they said bye. And then I said bye. And I was like, I just met Dan and Phil. I literally just met Dan and Phil. That happened. What? Before I even continue, let me just say this. I have lots of regrets. Meaning, like, I wish I could have done something else. I wish I would have told them what I originally wanted to say, like, hey, thanks for making me smile, straight to the face, which I did write in the letter, but it's not the same. And I wanted to tell them, I should have told them my name. I should have been like, hi, my name's Elizabeth. I wrote you this letter and I gave it to the security guard already, but I just really wanted you to see that this is my face. And I wrote you guys this letter that I honestly just poured my whole heart into, because you guys mean so much to me, and I wish I could have told them that, and I wish I could have hugged them harder, and I wish I could have hugged Phil harder, but I just didn't want to make them uncomfortable when I had to hold the freaking book so awkwardly, and I wish I probably should have picked something else than my book for them to sign, because that's basic, I guess you could say. I wish I could have planned out exactly everything, I guess. And so I went to the guy and I saw that he was cutting off the red wristbands that we had gotten. And so I showed him my arm and he's like, whoa, got lots of wristbands there. And I was like, yeah. And like my voice cracked because I was just like realizing, hey, I just met Dan and Phil. I just met Dan and Phil. And so he cut it off and then he gave me this bag. So every person in the VIP got this bag. On one side it says, I actually went outside to see Dan and Phil on tour. And then the other side says, the amazing tour is not on fire. And in the bag we got a flower crown, which I already have one, but you know, who needs one when you can have two? Swag. And then we also got the Dan and Phil US Tour 2016 poster. Here is a poster with Dan and Phil in front of the US flag, and then all the tour dates are right there. And then we also got this wristband. If you've seen the wristbands, you know that they come with the black string thing, and me being that stupid, I couldn't get it off, so I had to rip it off. But basically, here, let me undo, since it's basically a ribbon now. It says, the amazing tour is not on fire, VIP. So I went back to my seat. I was the biggest mess in the room. I was crying a river. I am not even trying to be funny. Like, look at this clip. I look so bad. Sounds good. No. So I continued to cry, and then they're like, bye guys, we hope you enjoy the show. And I was like, kill me. I was absolutely devastated. I don't know why, but I was just so sad. Like, I kept telling myself, hey, you're still going to watch the show and you're front row, chill. But it's like, how can I chill when I just met Dan and Phil, the people that make me smile every day and that have helped me through the toughest times? Like, I can't chill. There's no such thing as chilling, lady, I told myself. And so I walked out of the building with Courtney, and I was just like, still crying, obviously. That did not just happen. So they told us that we would have to wait with like everyone else that was in the going into the show. And then I had also texted Valerie, Infinite Val, and she was like, oh hey, I saw you coming out, I saw you crying. And I was like, wow. And so she was inside, literally on the door. So I was like, you know what, let's go. So I went with Courtney, and then I saw Val, and then I freaking attacked her, and I started crying, and I cried, and then I'd stop crying, but then I looked at Val again, and then I kept crying, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried, and cried, and cried, and cried, and cried. Did I mention I cried? Wow. It was so much tears, like I couldn't. I to this day, I'm just like, no, that did not happen. I did not meet Dan and Phil. That was not a thing. No, I just kept crying, and I felt so bad because then she started crying, and I was like, Valerie, guess what? I literally saw no one else except this one girl that almost started crying, but she didn't cry. Like, I was like, I was the only person left crying after meeting Dan and Phil. How are these other people not crying? I'm literally in tears crying because I just met people that have saved me so many times, and it's like, how are you not crying? Like, I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm so emo, maybe that's it, I don't know, but I was just like, no one else is crying. How is no one else crying? Please tell me why no one else is crying. They opened the doors at 6:30, and so we rushed in and showed them my ticket, yada yada yada. I went straight to the merch line because I was like, yes. And there I got the wristband. It says, "The amazing tour is not on fire, USA 2016. The tour pass that has the Dan and Phil and the US flag, and then it has all the dates in the back, and then it also has "The amazing tour is not on fire 2016. And I also got a t-shirt of the same design. I'm pretty sure you've all seen it. Once both me and Courtney got our merchandise, we decided to head upstairs and go to the crafty corner to be nosy, and also to the 7-second challenge so that we could turn in some things. One of mine was spell Chicago backwards. The other one was, I think, say 3 facts about Chicago. After that, me and Courtney went back downstairs because she decided that she was hungry. And so while we were in line for like the snacks or whatever, she was gonna grab some popcorn. We saw Martin, and I was like, it is not Martin. No, no. We stared. I'm sorry, but we stared. So she got her popcorn, and we just like awkwardly stood there and watched other people say hi to them, and I was like, nope. So I didn't have the courage to go and say hi to them and stuff, but I was like, okay, well, that failed. So we decided to finally go to our seats. We went to our seats, and I sat next to this one girl that wasn't much of a talker. The other girls that sat next to me were pretty nice, and then the girls that sat behind me were the ones that I was talking to even before the show, which was just amazing because then I could fangirl during and stuff with them. I was so close to the stage, I clearly just reached my hand over and I was touching the stage, and I was like, no, who decided to put me in this seat? This is not a good seat, okay? I am going to die. The show was amazing. Even before the show, the playlist, they played Tear in My Heart, and I was like, yes. They played Victorious by Panic at the Disco, and I was like, yes. And then they played Pity Party by Melanie Martinez, and I was like, yes. All amazing. Very amazing. And they played My Chemical Romance, but let's not talk about that, because yeah. I absolutely loved the show. It was amazing as you would have expected. I just wish I could live that whole day over again. During the show, spoiler, you know how I had told you that they were doing the internet support group? Yeah, they played my voice for the whole entire audience to hear me as Dan. What I should do about my family judging me for always wearing black. He said, in more smaller terms, I guess you could say, that I should express myself the way I'd like to. And I was like, I'm dying, okay? And I told the people that were sitting next to me, like, that was me. And they were just like, oh my gosh. And then the girl sitting here, she was like, she didn't talk at all. And I was kind of like, I'm sorry if I'm making you uncomfortable. I'm trying to be energetic today. It's not working. They also used my 7-second challenge about spelling Chicago backwards. So Dan was like, Elizabeth would like you to spell Chicago backwards in 7 seconds. And then Phil ended up spelling Chicago or something like that. He added another G. But yeah, it was pretty nice and pretty funny. And it's absolutely just crazy to think that I was in the show twice. Like, what? Who let that happen? Once the show ended, I just died. I cried before the show, during the show, after the show. It was like, before I left, I grabbed 3 pieces of confetti from the stage. Here are my 3 pieces of confetti. Phan, 2, 3. Don't judge me. You would have done the same thing. So I met back up with Valerie and we waited outside, and I finally got in the car with my mom and I started crying a lot. I continued to cry a lot. I cried so much on Friday. I had a migraine. Literally, I cried so much on Friday. On Saturday, I had a freaking party at my house and I kept crying and I just couldn't handle being around those people and then telling them also about meeting Dan and Phil and stuff. I'm literally having a party at my house and everybody just left. And I can't stop crying because anytime I'm left alone with my thoughts, it's like all I can think about is the fact that I met Dan and Phil and people asked me to. And I was like, yeah, like I met them with him. What is life? I don't know. I trade all my tomorrows for just one yesterday. It was so bad. I cried on Sunday. I cried on Monday. I cried today. It's like there has not been one time that I tell people about my whole experience meeting Dan and Phil that I haven't started crying. Like, I cried at school today. First period, second period, third period, fourth period, I just cried, and then this one guy even like brought me a box of tissues and I was like, oh wow, thanks. And I also started telling like the whole experience at lunch with my friends and I started crying again. Yay, Lisa crying. Wow, not much of a surprise since I'm so emo. I'm sorry. I started crying and then my friends started crying and then Valerie wanted to cry too and I'm like, stop. I'm such a mess. I'm so sorry. There will probably never be a time when I tell people about meeting Dan and Phil and then I don't cry. Like, I will always cry because they mean so much to me, and the fact that I got to hug them, it's absolutely just crazy. Right now, I have such an aching in my heart. It's so bad. Like, I feel like I can't even watch videos or do anything that used to make me happy, like watch anime, watch YouTubers, read manga or something, like something that would make me so happy just by doing the simplest things. It's like I can't even enjoy that anymore because I feel like my happiness won't be satisfied with minimal things. Like, I just want to hug Dan and I want to hug Phil again, and I wish I could just hug them tighter than I did, and it's an absolute mess. And I feel like such a mess. All the people that have tried to talk to me since then have had like difficulty, and it's like, I'm sorry, I'm just a mess right now. I need tissues like 24/7. I have been in so much emotional pain that I think that's why I haven't been able to eat as I used to. I only eat because someone tells me to eat. Like, because I know it's unhealthy for me not to eat, not because I'm hungry. Like, I literally, the day that I met Dan and Phil, I didn't eat anything for like 10 hours. And that's like really crazy. No, not even, because it was like the 10 hours and then like the 9 hours that I slept. So that was like almost a whole day without eating or drinking anything, and I was like, wow, great, cool. I'm sorry I cried in this video. I'm not really surprised, to be honest. I honestly I've cried so much already. You meet your heroes and it's like, you will never stop crying. Ever. 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 May 27, 2016 will forever be one of the best days of my life. I made this Instagram post and I feel like I need to read it out loud just so that you could hear me read it out loud. Today will forever be one of the best days of my life. I can't stop crying thinking about the fact that I actually met these two dorks. They have helped me through the toughest times. There has never been a day that they haven't made me smile. I love them to death, and the fact that I got to hug them twice and give them a letter I poured my heart and soul into is unbelievable. I went up to them and I hugged Dan and I was like, you're so tall. Oh, so basic, I know. I hugged Phil. Then they asked what I wanted them to sign, so they signed my book and it was time for the picture, and I took out my iPod but I couldn't get to the camera, so I was like, I'm sorry, I'm such a mess. And Dan was like, no, it's okay, you're fine. And before the show started, I saw Phil's brother Martin and his girlfriend, and I wanted to say hi, but of course I was like, nope. Oh yeah, and did I mention they used my 7-second challenge? I wrote down spell Chicago backwards, and Dan said Elizabeth from Chicago would like you to spell Chicago backwards. And Phil couldn't spell it. Instead, he spelled Chicago. Oh yeah, and guess what else? They played my voice for the whole entire audience to hear me ask Dan for advice. He said that I should express myself the way I want to. The show was just amazing. I never knew they could actually sing before there. I've cried about 25 plus times, and I'm not even joking. I cried after I met them, I cried during the show, I cried on the car ride home, and I'm crying right now. And I will probably cry tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. I will remember these two nerds until the day I die. Daniel James Howell and Philip Michael Lester will forever be my heroes. May 27, 2016. That's the first time I've read that I haven't started crying, so props to me. Currently living a sappy life with happy tears and sad tears that everyone keeps asking me about, because they're like, are you in tears because you're happy or you're sad? And I'm like, honestly, I don't even know anymore. It absolutely sucks, to be honest. I literally cannot focus during school. I'm just like, I look down at the paper and I'm like, oh, back to this boring life that I dislike very much. And then I start crying, and then I'm like, suck it up, Lisa, you're in public. Obviously, the biggest sadness is that the moment was so short and it happened so fast, and I honestly never know if I'm going to meet them again. I probably won't, and that's why it's like, wow, great. On the positive side, I think I'm just really happy about the joy it brought me at the moment. Like, I'm gonna start crying again. I'm such a mess. I'm sorry. I love Dan and Phil with such a big love for them. It's like, it's weird. Like, I even wrote in my letter, like, yeah, it's weird that you would find enjoyment and like happiness in seeing someone else live their life or like do something, but it's like sometimes your life is boring and you just want something that's exciting, and that's probably why we like watching YouTubers and stuff. But you know what? I don't care what other people think about, oh my gosh, you're watching that person, you're watching this person, you could do that in real life, yada yada yada. I don't care. I'm also getting pictures developed, put in like on top of my bed, because I have this frame that's there. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I'm gonna have that picture, the picture of where it says TATINOF, Dan and Phil, May 27 and 28. Also, how close I was to the stage, and then my ticket, and then my 3 pieces of confetti. Here's my ticket. I hope you guys have wonderful lives, and pray for me and my horrible hair. No. And pray that I can go back to being emotionally stable, I guess. Look at that. You see that right there? Parking for Dan and Phil. You see that? Stop! I'm dying. I'm shaking. This is not real. Look at it. Oh my god. I just met Dan and Phil. I'm at a loss of words. I can't even talk.